All right, what is up, everybody? So YouTube just made one of the absolute strangest moves of the year. While pretty much the entire world was writing off the Apple Vision Pro as a massive flop, YouTube, out of nowhere, drops this premium, decked-out app for it. So why? Why would the world's biggest video platform invest in what looks like a dying product? We are going to break it down. And hey, if you're into deep dives just like this one, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. You are not going to want to miss what's coming next. So, let's get right to it. Is this a genius long-term strategic play, or is it just an epic fail? I mean, YouTube is either seeing something that the rest of us are completely missing, or they have made a colossal miscalculation. We are about to dig into all the data, the timeline, and figure out exactly what is going on here. So to really understand this, we first have to appreciate just how bizarre the timing of this launch really is. I mean, on the surface, it seems completely backward.
Just think about this for a second. For 2 full years, the biggest video platform on planet Earth completely, totally ignored Apple's super futuristic headset. I mean, crickets, nothing. And then, out of the blue, they launched this premium, fully featured app. The timing just feels, well, it feels off. Why do it now?
This right here, this is why. 45,000. That's the estimated number of Vision Pros that shipped in the last quarter of 2025. For a behemoth like YouTube, that's not a market, that's a rounding error. It's nothing. The math makes zero sense. So let's rewind a bit and see exactly what happened during those 2 years of silence.
Let's dive into the backstory, because YouTube's initial reluctance, well, it wasn't just them passively avoiding it. This was a very, very active choice on their part.
You gotta remember, when the Vision Pro first launched, YouTube flat out said, nope, no native app on our roadmap. Users were told to just use the Safari web browser, which, as you can probably imagine, was a pretty terrible experience. They even went so far as to block popular third-party apps, like Juno, which was just trying to fill the gap. And then after all that, a surprise launch. This wasn't some accident. It was a deliberate 2-year-long decision to stay away.
So for all those early adopters, this was their reality. You couldn't download videos for a flight, the interface was clunky and hard to use, and worst of all, you couldn't access the immersive spatial video, which is, the entire point of the Vision Pro. So when that official app finally dropped, man, it was a total game changer. But here's the pattern interrupt. This is the thing that makes this whole story so fascinating. YouTube didn't just phone it in. They didn't just release some lazy port of their iPad app. No, they went all in. Now just look at the investment they made here. We're talking a massive virtual screen, full Shorts integration, a dedicated tab for spatial video. This is not a cheap port. They even built in native gesture controls and, get this, support for 8K playback. 8K! Why would you pour all these resources into an app for a dying platform? That 8K feature? Well, that's our first huge clue.
Okay, and here's where it really gets interesting. That 8K playback, it's specifically tied to the M5 chip. That's Apple's next-generation processor. This detail tells us everything. See, YouTube isn't building an app for the Vision Pro of today. They're building it for the much more powerful versions that are coming tomorrow. Now, with that in mind, let's go back and look at those sales numbers again.
Okay, so let's look at the hard numbers. The data that makes this whole situation look so illogical on the surface. Because, the data really does paint a picture of a product that's in a steep, steep decline.
The data just doesn't lie. Look at this trend. You see a massive spike right at launch, but then it's followed by this incredibly steep drop-off. The initial hype just completely fizzled out, leaving a user base that's way smaller than anyone predicted.
It actually gets so bad that, according to the Financial Times, Apple literally halted production and slashed its marketing budget. So you have falling sales, paused production, and that's the moment YouTube decides to jump in. It seems absolutely insane, until you stop focusing on today.
And here it is. This is the real strategy. See, YouTube isn't reacting to today's market at all. They're playing chess, not checkers. This isn't about today's tiny sales numbers. It's about owning the future of computing.
So here's their strategy, broken down. Step 1, establish dominance early. By creating the absolute best video app on the platform, they become the default, just like they are on mobile. Step 2, like we saw with that M5 chip, they're building for future hardware, making sure they're ready when the platform really takes off. 3, they get to define what a premium video experience even looks and feels like in spatial computing. And finally, all of this creates a competitive moat. It makes it really hard for any other video platform to catch up.
So let's just put it all side by side.
The short-term view sees them reacting to 45,000 users and calls it a failure. But the long game sees an investment in the next era of computing. They're not focusing on those 45,000 users today. They're targeting the next billion users tomorrow. They're not waiting for the market to mature. They are spending money right now to shape it from day one.
So ultimately, YouTube is making a massive bet that spatial computing is the future, and they are willing to pay the price of admission right now to own the most important screen of the next decade. But what do you think? Is this a brilliant, forward-thinking strategic play, or is it just a huge waste of money? Drop your take in the comments below.